Hello and welcome to the Every Other Saturday podcast for episode 35 of our weekly podcast series here on the channel and on Spotify. It's been a slow week again, international break. As it is, we always hate it. We talked last week about how we were going to struggle to fill up this episode, but it's actually came quite nicely. A lot of stuff came around. We're doing the 10 most important moments, or not most important, sorry, but 10 important moments to us on the road to 55 this season. We'll round up all the international stuff, give our thoughts in Scotland, and also look at the Cove Rangers game at the end of the week. So plenty to talk about. It's nice to actually be talking about Rangers again. And with a game on the horizon as well. It's been a bit dismal this week with international football. I don't know how have you dealt with it?
No doubt it any good, mate. Just been sleeping, to be honest, here in Scotland around. But,
just like everybody else, I think. But before we get into this episode, it should be quite a good one. If you could subscribe to the YouTube channel, that'd be great, and follow the socials that'll be on the screen as well. So before we go into everything else, a few bits of news that's come out today. That good news starting with Alfredo Morelos getting the Player of the Month for the SPFL. Much deserved in my opinion. Had a really great month this month. Scored some big goals. The one against Livingston comes to mind. He scored against St Mirren obviously the day before we won the league, and then he got his Old Firm goal obviously a few weeks ago. So it's been a good month for Morelos. Wrapped up the league title within that as well. So you're just happy to see it. And as I said before we come on air here, just smiling at his wee interview they put on the Twitter.
I know, I'm just delighted for him, as you say, mate. All the stick he gets, do you know what I mean? Fairly deserved, and he's superb, as he would. I'm happy to see him doing his pose as usual, do you know what I mean? It's starting to be his trademark thing, but I am delighted for him.
No, I know. I'm delighted for him as well. He's done really well through this month. He's came back and stuff like that. He's sort of been the main man about the place again. It's happy to see him with that sort of title again, because he is the main guy in our side, and he always will be. So good to see that news just a couple of hours ago. The other sort of negative news that came out was the results finally get published for the SPFL hearing on the Rangers 5 who broke the COVID rules a few months ago as well. A bit weird actually for me that they're doing it so late. I mean, Patterson came in and played a week after that all happened. You've seen Zungu in about the squad. Bassey's been on the bench all the time, so it's a bit weird that they've waited this long to try and conclude the investigation. But it has been done. 6-game bans for each player, which probably sparks the end of Zungu's playing career at Rangers. He'll still be involved with the celebrations at the end of the season. I read that they're allowed to be involved in that. Patterson's going to be a big miss, so he's come into the team since that. Performed really well, and probably just let himself down. I think this will be a real learning curve for him personally. And the other three, Dappel, he's on loan, obviously. Bassey, who's the substitute left back, so we're hoping Borna Barisic is all right. We're not getting any injuries or that. So, what's your thoughts on that? Do you feel that it's maybe a bit late to give these players bans, or do you think it was inevitable?
Well, I would agree it's a bit late, mate, but like anything else that any of the top bodies in football do, it's always too late after what's happened, do you know what I mean? Patterson's the only one, as you say, that's really said a blow, because we don't know about Tal. We don't know if he's going to be back for the remainder of the season, but it's just a shame, really, do you know what I mean, that he's going to miss. To be honest with you, the other ones, it is what it is, you know what I mean? You don't know where he's going to go, you don't know if he's going to be, do you know what I mean, with the team next season. But let's just hope they're all learning for this, mate, to be honest with you, and they don't make a mistake like this ever again.
Aye, and that's what it'll boil down to. Hopefully never the mistakes to be made again. It's because it's a real learning curve for everybody within football this year to be able to adapt to certain rules and regulations. Footballers obviously the pinnacle of that. They need to sacrifice a lot with their career. So at the time when we both obviously heard about it, and as every Rangers fan heard about it, we were angry because we didn't know how it would affect the club and players being banned and stuff like that. But after it's all been said and done, it's kind of been brushed at the end of the season. It shouldn't affect us too much, I hope. So, at least that's been dealt with now, and we can move over that, and they're banned for the next few games anyway. So, into sorry, I've got a wee cough coming on here. Into the next segment then is the international roundup so far. So far being because there's still a few games to be played. I think maybe the night Scotland play tomorrow. So firstly, before we go on to Scotland, I'll let you hold your tongue a wee bit. We'll talk about the Rangers players who are involved this week and the week before on the international stage. So Philip Hollander, a great showing for Sweden. 2 clean sheets. He played 2 games and they won 2, and that was against Kosovo and Georgia. So pretty good for Philip Hollander. Starting on a good Sweden side. I had a look at their side. They've got a lot of good players. There's Zlatan Ibrahimovic obviously backing that fold again on the international stage. So obviously good to see Hollander playing at a very high level still.
It's tremendous to see, as I said to you. It's just great to see that we've got players who are playing internationals, as we said, for where we've come from, all the way back up. And as you said, the team he's played with, do you know what I mean? Zlatan, what's the boy from Man United? It's his centre half partner, in it?
Oh, Lindelof, aye.
Aye, well, you know what I mean? He's got a good side there, so I'm happy for Phil getting his games.
Aye, and he's came to the attention of a lot of transfer speculation over the past week. When he's good performances and that, I heard Aston Villa, Leicester, a couple of clubs interested in securing these services for next season. But it's one of the when our players do go on the international stage, they're going to attract attention, especially when Hollander's playing at the level he is currently, and he has been since he joined Rangers. He's going to attract attention, but the transfer window isn't open now. We'll talk about that in the summer if it materialises, but I just heard a wee bit about that. Yanis Hagi, he played 2 games, came off the bench to score the winner for Romania against Macedonia in a 3-2 victory, which is a big win for them. Good to see him get a goal. I think it was his first as well for the main national team in Romania. And then they sadly get beat off Germany the other day. So good to see him testing himself against a proper good German side, good players in there.
Massive testing, as you say, the player that he could go on to become. He's another one that's been sort of linked in it with summer move away, which I can say, mate, hopefully none of the 2 of them go, because they're tremendous parts of the team, as we said, you know what I mean? Going nowhere unless you get big bucks, that's all I'll be saying.
Aye, and I'll echo that message because these players, even with just like international games and then coming into the Euros, the ones they'll be playing, they're going to attract major attention all over the world that watches this tournament. So, aye.
It's Tom Cruise, isn't it, mate? Do you know what I mean? Show me the money. And that's what Gerrard and the boys will be like on the phone. Show us the money.
Aye, they probably will be, by the way. But good showing for Yanis Hagi. Good to see him getting a goal and testing himself against a high-level opposition in Germany. The next one is Glenn Kamara. He played 2 games and they drew the 2 games. He started the both of them against Bosnia and Ukraine. So both of them, Finland are quite well matched with the 2 of these sides. Bosnia have had a good few players. Pjanic, Dzeko, I don't know if he actually still plays with them or not. Ukraine, decent side as well. But Glenn Kamara, obviously, he's in the background there. He's had a really tough few weeks, so it's good to see him again playing in the international stage, again playing at a high level and a really good side, Finland, and he'll hopefully take that into the Euros.
Hopefully, as you say, mate, he's going to be a massive player to be. I think a lot of teams are going to be watching. Do you know what I mean? Throughout the summer, have probably been this season. So for me, it's just I'm happy to see Glenn just playing his football and focusing on his game. Do you know what I mean? But no, I'm happy for my boys that are out playing their internationals, as long as they don't get injured. That's what we've been saying. As long as they come back fit and ready to go and finish off the business.
Nah, exactly. And then the next one, Aribo Balogan, they both played 1 game against Benin. That was in the African Cup of Nations. They won that game 1-0. So again, they both started the game. Good to see another 2 players playing a really good Nigerian side as well. I've seen some of the players they have, Iwobi and stuff like that. So they've got a good side. Again, Aribo and Balogan, big parts of that. So again, good to see them on obviously the African side of the football now.
Well, listen, Nigeria, sensational with their kits. I remember that World Cup kit, wasn't it?
Oh my God, aye.
And all other teams, as you say, Iwobi, top players that they are playing alongside. I've seen sort of is Balogun getting a new deal. I don't know if he is or not.
I seen that about that today. Apparently, due to him, when he came into the club, he was sort of like a last minute replacement for Katic when he was injured. But apparently, because he's played that many games, an automatic year extension gets triggered. I don't know if that is actually true or not, but I've heard that obviously going to happen. He's going to get an extra year, so it'll be good to see obviously Balogun for another year. He's done really well this season.
It'd be just good to see, you know what I mean, as you said, with Katic come back as well. The competition at centre half is just going to be top notch. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a race, I would say, to see who's going to be Golden's partner next season.
Aye, because there's Simpson. Obviously, we've not seen much of him. It'll be his time to obviously show what he can do next season. Balogun, Hollander, Katic coming back into the fold as well. Even George Edmondson will be back for his loan. So there's a lot of competition to see who actually stays. It's a really strong area of the pitch for us. So it'll be good to see that battle in the summer, and we'll see what happens with that one. Borna Barisic played 2 games, 1 win and 1 loss. Against his win came against Cyprus and the loss was against Slovenia. So a bit mix and match for Borna Barisic. He did get one of the highest ratings in the recent game. I think that was against Cyprus. He got the highest rated on the wee app. So good to see Barisic again continuing to impress again on the international stage. Like all the players we've listed today have.
No, it's just keep reiterating, mate. It's just good to have internationals in our team, as you say. Just where we come from, where we are now. It's good to see that they're out there playing their socks off, and just hope they don't get injured. Do you know what I mean? All the teams that you've named, that these teams they're playing against, to be honest with Scotland, probably would have lost or drawn with. So it's good to see that our players are out there winning.
Aye, and then the last one was Stephen Davis. He has equalled Peter Shilton's record for the most appearances by someone in the UK or something like that's record on the international stage. He's going to break that record in the next day or so. I don't know when they actually play, but he will have broke that record. So it's good to see Stephen Davis just continuing to just impress us all with what age he is and what he's doing in his career. He's playing at such a high level still, and it's great to see him break that record. And I'm really proud of Stephen Davis for that.
Massively proud. Just I hope he wasn't involved in that US game that they get beaten, mate.
No, I don't think he did actually play.
Listen, I know people go, he could beat after US, but US have got such a great young side, you know what I mean? Great young talent. But no, as you say, congratulations to Stephen Davis, you know what I mean? Top professional. He's top lad. He's getting back. I just want him looking back for Rangers, man. As I say, mate, I keep going on about just bring the normal football back, man.
Aye, and I think for your thoughts on the Scotland game we're going to go through next, he'll want you to get the Rangers games back even more. So that was the international roundup for the players at Rangers who have played so far on the international stage. There's a few more games to go, but we'll maybe talk about that on our Twitter on that, to see what happens with the players that are playing. So Scotland now, John McLaughlin was the only man involved. Didn't he play any games or that? Ryan Jack obviously pulled out the squad. And it was a 2-each draw with Austria and a 1-each draw with Israel. I know you're chomping at the bit to get on me here, so go, speak your thoughts.
Aye, well, as I said to you, mate, this man's out his depth. This man, he's honestly, as I said to you, I'm not even watching the games. I've seen somebody tweeted, Scotland, if you want to watch Scotland, they're best for going on your phone. Like, you just go on your phone, do you know what I mean? They only come alive for the last 15 minutes, it seems like, of the game. Do you know what I mean? I honestly see when John McGinn did that overhead kick, mate, I wasn't going about, you know what I mean, celebrating. I was laughing. I was like, see the way that he does it, do you know what I mean, for the small gravity of him. But I just feel like Steve Clarke's out his depth. You seen that tweet I sent you about it was McLeish, do you know what I mean? Got us to the playoffs or what have you. I don't know. I'm just watching players like Stephen O'Donnell, who are he's clearly buddies with. Do you know what I mean? Obviously for his time at Kilmarnock and that. Mate, you're best sitting on sports scene and you're playing football, to be honest with you. Patterson needs to be in there. I don't know what I was thinking when I was saying, you know, maybe give him more time with Rangers just to get it. No, he needs to be in there. And he's talking about the left back situation here. Drop one of them. You can't play 2 of them. Drop one of them. Do you know what I mean? It's what we're doing here. Drop one of them. If Robertson isn't delivering, play Tierney. Do you know what I mean? For me, I would middle of the park. It was a game the other day there, where for me, Che Adams was doing fantastic. Do you know what I mean? He was only one for me. That
played really well, actually. Aye.
Let's bring Lyndon Dykes on for what? What are we bringing him on for? What, to hold the ball? Do you know what I mean? I don't know, man. It's really. I feel like we're going to waste a generational. Do you know what I mean? Like a proper chance here to do something, get to tournaments. That's all we're asking for, by the way, isn't to go and win them. We're asking just to get to tournaments. For me, the Euros were done. We ain't doing anything in that. For me, I just want to beat England. That's the only thing I care about. Go to the tournament, beat England. You get put out, you get put out. But that man needs to be out. I seen that there was a chance to get, what was it, David Moyes before him for the
Aye.
job. David Moyes about to play Champions League, Europa League football. Do you know what I mean? We're stuck with this, Alki. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I'm telling you, mate, he plays spin the bottle when he's picking that team. And you've got that guy that's one of his assistants that was with Newcastle. It's John Kavanagh or something.
John Carver,
I can't
aye.
remember. Aye, him. But he's a wally and all. Do you know what I mean? I honestly think me and you could do better with the team. I say it all the time, mate. Honestly, let's start a position. Me and you for a Scotland. I'm only joking, but for me, I just want somebody else in the job, man. Because we play negative football. I get that you're set up well. Do you know what I mean? Not to concede goals and all that. But come on, man. Let's go for it. Seeing games, as I said to you, Israel, you've got to go there and you've got to beat them a good 3 or 4 for me. Same with England game. I know it's just going to be boring. But for me, the players need to be passionate in that game. They need to just go for it. Just all guns blazing, go for it. Win or loss, do you know what I mean? But for yourself, mate, I don't know what obviously you're not really hanging me with international, but what are you feeling with this then?
I've got some thoughts on Scotland. I watched the Israel game, sadly. The Austria game, I was playing my PlayStation. I forgot the game was on, and then I seen it was 2-1 to Austria. I went down, turned it on. John McGinn obviously scored that overhead kick. So to then again, I thought Austria a decent side, good start to the group, good point out of that. Just try not get beat basically in that game, and then you move on to Israel. We've played them every fucking month at this point. As you say, it's a game you need to go out and win. Didn't start the game well at all. Israel were the better side for the first 45. Could have been a few up. Obviously got a great goal. Marshall should be saving it, but it's a great shot for the guy.
If McLaughlin was in, he'd saved it, mate. If McLaughlin was in, he's saving that for me.
Even if Al McGregor was in, that would have been a save as well. Done poor with that, and then just like the Steve Clarke thing is wore off for me. As you say, Alex McLeish had a better record than him, win rate anyway, when he was the Scotland manager, and he got absolutely hounded within the media. Steve Clarke is getting treated like this absolute god with Scotland when he clearly isn't. He got them to a tournament through a penalty shootout. No really anything great. That's what he plays for. He plays not to get beat and try and get sneak a win, sneak in. At that time it was a penalty shootout. Obviously, great moment. We all enjoyed it. But the reality sets back in, and the squads that he's picking is not good enough for me either. It's Stephen O'Donnell. I was talking to Alistair for TA Pundits. We've had on, I've been on his podcast, and I was saying to him, I don't rate Stephen O'Donnell one bit at all. He had a decent game against Austria, but if you're wanting to build an actual proper side that can actually go out and challenge and be as good as the best, for me, Stephen O'Donnell is one you have to leave behind. The centre-back pairing of Hendry and Hanley, it's just not good enough for me. The left-back situation, Andy Robertson, I'm a Liverpool fan as well, but Andy Robertson, why is he the Scotland captain? Is he only the Scotland captain because he plays for the best club, Liverpool? What is the deal with that? Kieran Tierney's clearly in the better form. Play him. The midfield situation, Ryan Jack has been sorely missed throughout this sort of international break. I think these 2 games have showed how vital Ryan Jack is to Scotland, because he always starts, him and McGregor and McGinn or whatever. He's been vital. Che Adams has looked very good, I must say. He's looked good so far. I like looking him. But it just gets me wondering with the midfield situation. When you don't have a player like Ryan Jack available, when you've got David Turnbull, who's playing a really good season with Celtic, when you've got Billy Gilmore, who's turning it on for Chelsea and looking like one of the best prospects in the Premier League, when you've got Nathan Patterson performing for Rangers, it really does bear the question to me, why are these not in here? And the reason is Steve Clarke. That's not the kind of player he looks for. He looks for players like Scott McTominay and John McGinn. Not saying they're bad players at all, but he looks for players that are big and hard and can go in and win tackles and stuff like that. Billy Gilmore's a flair player. Patterson, again, young guy, he's got all the speed in the world. That's the guy I can actually see eventually breaking into the squad, but I just don't see the place for Billy Gilmore, David Turnbull, although I believe they should be there. But currently under Steve Clarke, you won't see the best of them. It needs to be under the right management, and I feel like David Moyes, as you see right now, is going to be, that's a massive miss for Scotland.
Aye, but even as you were saying to me, and all there was the boys face at Johnston that won the cup. I can't remember. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I was actually going to. I forgot about there. St Johnstone obviously won the cup. They're merited on their good defensive record. They're really hard to beat and break down, as you've seen even with Rangers this season. They are really hard to break down. They beat Hibs 3-0 in the semi-final of the cup, and two of their defenders actually scored. I think. Oh no, sorry, all their goals in that game was for set pieces. Jason Kerr is our captain. Obviously, captain, won the trophy, got them into the top six the other week there as well. I don't understand why you would choose somebody like Declan Gallagher over him. Is Declan Gallagher only there because he played well to get you to the tournament? Like the whole sort of thing with Stephen O'Donnell as well, where they're clearly not good enough to build a Scotland team for like actually going forward. It's just the whole Pals Act sort of thing with me. That's the only thing I see out of that.
That's the thing I'm on about with O'Donnell there is, see the two games we've played there, Austria were targeting him straight away. They knew he was a weak link in that defence there, do you know what I mean? They were going for him. Same in the Israel game. That Solomon, is it? He's a
Solomon.
He's a player, him. He'll definitely be in the Premiership, if not somewhere in Europe. But I don't know, man. I just can't watch Steve Clarke's teams, do you know what I mean? I'm watching the game. I'm falling asleep. I don't know.
Honestly, that's why I don't bother with Scotland half the time, because I feel the exact same way. I really tried to watch them the other night because I'm like, right, let's go. We've got a Che Adams starting up front. Look, it looks good to me. And then it's shite. The substitution for that game as well. Ryan Christie came on, and I'm not saying this because we're a Rangers podcast. Ryan Christie is shocking. Like, whatever has happened to him in the last year anyway. He was good last season, I must say. He was a good player, but ever since this season, he's just fell off a cliff. If that aspiration for him to move in the summer to go to the Premier League is still on for him, I don't think it will happen anytime soon. Really poor showing for him. When you're bringing on players like Lyndon Dykes, when you're trying to go for a game, I know he's a striker, but he's not that striker that's going to... They weren't that opportunity there to go and get balls into the box. It was all just pressure for Israel, break up the park, and then get him to hold it up. It didn't make sense.
For me, I thought Kevin Nisbet deserved to come on, to be honest with you.
You've got a guy there, you need a goal. Get Nisbet on.
Get him on. To be honest with you, I've changed my opinion on Callum McGregor. I don't think he's an alright player. Maybe I was just being harsh because I'm a Rangers fan or that. But I agree with you with Ryan Christie. He shouldn't have been picked for me. Turnbull has to be in there. Turnbull's got to be in there. For me, he's been, what I've seen, it seems like he's been Celtic's, do you know what I mean, saving grace, best player so far this season for him, do you know what I mean?
Well, if you've seen for that Old Firm game the last time, see every single time Celtic had a opportunity to cross the ball into the box, they had a corner, it was always David Turnbull that had it, and it was always him that gave a great delivery into the box. I mean, that's what he gives you. Although he plays for Celtic, I don't like him for that reason. Like, he is a good player on the national stage. I feel like he's going to be that great player for us going forward. He can just make something out of nothing. He's a great dead ball specialist, shoot for range, he's got a pass on him. For me, David Turnbull has everything that Scotland are currently lacking at the moment. And for the tournament, definitely, I think Steve Clarke will need to reevaluate his options, not only in that area, but along the full squad to see who actually gets in.
Well, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I don't know. I want a young manager. I want someone who's... I'm trying to think of someone who would be good for the job. I can't think of it top of my head, but I'm saying I just want somebody that plays attacking football that isn't scared to go and win a game and go and grab it by the scruff of the neck. Do you know what I mean? And get players in it that we're talking about. Turnbull's, Patterson's, Gilmore's. Gilmore's got to be there. I know he's not really like playing current team football or whatever for Chelsea, but he's still a massive player if you put him in for us. I don't know, man. Let's just hope the Faroe Islands get the job done against us. That's all I'll say. I'm always wrong. Just get the Rangers back sooner better than whatever,
you know, that's going to be a fucking... I don't even know if I'll bother with the game tomorrow, but it's going to be one of them that's going to... Scotland will struggle tomorrow again, I think, against the Faroe Islands, really. But Scotland, is raging. But finally, with this next bit, we can get back to Rangers. We talk about the Cove Rangers game now on Sunday. It feels like it's still a lifetime away. We're currently on Tuesday. This game's at 6:30 on Sunday night. What a stupid time for a game. But at Ibrox, Cove Rangers, they're currently second in League One. Paul Hartley is our manager. And this will be the biggest game of their season. Obviously, a massive cup tie against the champions of Scotland. So, how do you see this one going? Do you see it being a lot of rotation? Because personally, for me, at my point of view, I see a lot of players coming in. I think Simpson will come in for his first start. McLaughlin probably come back in. I would have said like your Zungu and stuff like that. But
Greg Stewart.
Greg Stewart, obviously, at the left-hand side. Jermaine Defoe, possibly. Cedric Eaton, get Roof back up to full speed as well. There's going to be a plenty of opportunity to get even like a young player like Leon King some game time in this one. So do you see it being just fully a second sort of string team, or do you see maybe a few like an Arfield or someone there?
I could see an Arfield in there. I don't think we'll see sort of like, maybe Golson, but I don't know. I don't think we'll see, like as you're saying, the first team. It will be sort of for me Simpson, just getting these kind of guys up to speed game time. Greg Stewart hat-trick, I'm calling it. He's my boy Greg Stewart. He's got to do it. Do you know what I mean? Maybe. Well, I was going to say Hingy, but he's been suspended. So maybe some of the lads, as you're saying, for the academy might get a shot in here, but it's just a good chance for people to get game time, I feel like.
Aye, it's going to be a great chance for people to get game time. A big cup tie, obviously, we can't underestimate anybody in these cups. Like Cove Rangers will be playing this, as I said, as if it's their be-all, end-all game. They will really try and beat us. So it's going to be a tough game. But I believe second string team goes out there, gets the job done. Maybe we even see James Tavernier back. I don't know. I don't know if Ryan Jack will be able to play. Again, I don't know. Balogan, he'll probably end up starting over at like right back because we don't really have anybody else now. But it'll be good to see players like Simpson and stuff.
If they need right back,
I forgot he existed. I thought you were all up front, mate.
I'm odd, but listen, Rangers can call and I can go and play right back for them any time of the day.
Fair enough. A utility player like Ryan Jack, you can play everywhere. I like that.
What the pace? 90 odd pace. Do you know what I mean?
80 defending, but poor.
Exactly. Well, listen, better than some of the Scotland players, I'll tell you that much.
But as I was saying, it'll be good to get players like Simpson, game time, Greg Stewart, game time, Cedric Eaton, Defoe, players like that, game time, especially at Ibrox as well. It's great to be talking about Rangers again.
100%. I was thinking for Defoe as well, who says he's going to want to play another year and finish his career off in the fans, which is fantastic to hear, to be honest with
you. I've seen a bit of talk about that online today, and he's a guy you just want to have around the place, even if he doesn't play that much games, because he's not really played many this season, but when he has, he's put in a good shift. He's still even got a few goals this season, and then you can see the effect that has on the one against Livingston. Oh my God,
sensational.
But you see the mentality he has throughout the squad. He's really good pals with Cedric Eaton, but it looks at it when you're looking online. He takes him under his wing. Obviously, two strikers, Morelos as well. And he just seems a really good guy to have about. He just seems really genuine, down to earth.
Positive energy.
Just a positive vibe around the place. So, for me anyway, I'd like to have Defoe about for next season anyway. Cove Rangers, that's about it. It's a while away, so we won't try and talk about it too much. But I'm looking forward to the game on Sunday. Looking forward to getting Rangers back, and hopefully we can progress through that one. But for the main feature of this episode now, we've got the title of the episode is the 10 most important moments on the road to 55. So I asked Lewis this question a few days ago. I was like, right, mate, get your list ready. 10 important moments. This can be things such as results, performances, competitions we've played in, players, goals, whatever you feel that was really important and sending us on our way to getting that league title 55. So I've got my 10 here. He's got his 10 over there. We're ready to go through it. Starting off, we'll go with your number 10 first, mate. What have you got?
Oh, me? Cool. Number 10, I went for start of the season. I went with Ryan Kent's goal against Aberdeen. For me, it was just massive to start the season off in a positive light. And it was a big player that got the goal. Morelos, sensational assist for me. No, but I went with Ryan Kent's goal against Aberdeen, mate.
No, that's quite a good one to start with. I've got that on my list, but it is, where is it? It's further up anyway, but we'll talk more in depth again when we get to it. My number 10 is the 8-0 victory against Hamilton. I've put that there because personally I feel like that was it was a massive point in our season where we were playing some of the best stuff we'd have. And a team was due to get an absolute spanking off us, and that day it was Hamilton. And I think that just showed to everybody in Scottish football, to everybody watching Rangers this season, that we were not here to fuck about. We were here to get something at the end of it, and we were destroying teams on the way to it. So I feel like that was a big sort of call out to everybody else in the Scottish League. No, Rangers are ready this season. And I feel like that was just a massive statement of intent for that point onwards. And as I said, we were due to give somebody an absolute scalpment that day. It was Hamilton. So I feel like that was a really important moment for getting everybody sort of feet to Rangers again, if you say so. So I've went with that one at 10. Right, number 9 now. Go for yours.
Number 9. See, I've done this in a weird way, right? I've done it in sort of like the months. So I've done like the start of the season, whatever, right? But I went for Connor Golson's double against the Scum. For me, wasn't the best game, but we absolutely had a game plan, went out and we dominated it. Connor Golson just get 2 goals and was unlucky to get a hat-trick for me, to be honest with you. But big Shane Duffy, he was decent that day. No, I've just went for Connor Golson's goals against Celtic, mate. For me, as I say, first goal for him. It was important to obviously do the business, especially away from home. So I big Connor gets that for me.
Funny enough, that's my number 9 as well. I've got that Old Firm victory. The first one is always the most important. Starting off the Old Firm games with a positive win is a big thing. Us going into that game, we're maybe under probably the most pressure we have been. We've still unbeaten. Celtic were on good form going into it as well. And Celtic were obviously decimated by COVID at that time, but we won't look at that too much. Rangers still had to go out and do the job. We did, and we done it without breaking a sweat. Pretty much, Connor Golson scored 2 in that day. It could have been very much more. Celtic didn't register a shot on target, and then from then, that's started their absolute downfall for the season for us beating them that day. So the picture that always sticks in my mind for that is the Shane Duffy when he's lying on the floor and Connor Golson's away celebrating. That is the picture etched in my mind for that game. So I do feel like it's a really important moment, and it was one sending out to our rivals again that we've went back to back there at their ground and won. So it was a real statement of intent again. So number 8 now. Number 8, go for yours.
Number 8 for me was a game that was just about getting the 3 points and getting up the road, mate. I've went for the 1-0 away for Kilmarnock. Tav's penalty. I thought, as I said to you, like, it was a tricky game. We seemed like we weren't really, do you know what I mean, in it. And also we get the penalty in that. But as for me, it was just important. Like, as you're saying, we were playing great football, positive stuff. But we also have had a couple of games where we've had to scrap to win. And for me, that's champions material. Do you know what I mean? You're just getting the points and you're up the road. So I went for that at number 8.
I feel like you're quite right with that one. That was one of them that comes under that bracket of 1-0s where we didn't play great, but we still got something out at the end of it. We got the 3 points that day. So I feel like all of them collectively are an important moment in this season. But my number 8 is the defensive record this season. I feel like this defensive record this season has been nothing short of remarkable. It's nothing that I've ever witnessed at a Rangers team in my life. Started off obviously breaking a certain record for the most consecutive run of games in the start of the season, which was obviously great. It clearly shone through with the defenders at how confident they were that they weren't going to concede goals. I think to this day we're only 4 or 5 goals conceded at Ibrox in the league, so that's still absolutely crazy. On the road, we don't even really concede that many away from home. But obviously could be tightened up in Europe. But I'm going with the defensive record as a whole because I feel it's improved vastly this season, and it's something that is just so key for winning the league for me. Like, defensive record has to be solid, and that could eventually win you leagues. And as you say, when you're one there, Kilmarnock 1-0, defence was solid that day because Kilmarnock has chances. And the defensive record throughout the season for me is strong and one of the most important factors. It could even be higher up in the list for me, but I've went with that at number 8. So
well, listen, I'll get that one a bit higher up, mate. But what's this, number 7? Number 7. I went for the 2-1 Dundee. Tav's sensational. For that game. But yeah, again, I feel like that was another one where it was, do you know what I mean? It was a tough game. Do you know what I mean? I went for a lot of things here that you've probably maybe similar to hanging, but for me that one was a tough one, mate, and it was it took something sensational, do you know what I mean, to win it. But no, I just think it's the same with that defensive record as well, man. Just superb. I've got it a bit higher up, but I went for the Dundee game, mate. I went for that, the number 7.
I think that's quite an important one actually, because that was maybe the first time away from home that we were really tested against Dundee United. We really had to work for our victory. They scored obviously against us. And then we had to work. Tavernier, obviously, great goal. But I feel like that is a really important one. It might get overlooked, even by me. I didn't have it on my list, but by a lot of other people. So it's a good one to mention.
Listen, they've been see what I've seen for them this season. I think they've been like a tough team to play. Like they've been, obviously we watched the Celtic game, but they just seem like a really difficult team to play against. So for me, it was a massive way of saying that.
Aye, definitely. For my number 7, I've went with the mentality of the team this season. For Gerrard in his press conferences, for the players in their press conferences, for every victory, just focusing on the next game, not looking too far ahead. For us, that sort of came onto us a wee bit when we're talking on the podcast. When we're talking about games, we're only looking at that next game. We weren't looking too far ahead. And I feel that it's such an important thing because I seen it last season when we beat Celtic at Celtic Park. They maybe just get too carried away with that whole situation and thought they'd won the league at that point. So to tone that back down a bit this season and then go to this mentality where it's like, no, nothing's won yet. Keep on going, try and get victories every game. It's been such a strong thing for me this season, and it's something I noticed straight away, and it definitely improved this season. So I've went with the mentality of the team and the staff this season. It's just been second to none.
Aye, 100%, mate. Agree with you.
6 now.
Number 6. I went with the Pigeons. No, I went for Yanis Hadji's goal. St Johnstone at home. That was, for me, that was a massive goal. It's quite similar to his one in Europe in the Braga game. Yeah, again, I'm just saying, it's tough. It was a tough game. Yeah, again, we just couldn't seem to break them down. That's what I'm saying here. I went for the sort of the obviously key moments, like you're saying, defensive and the mentality, but also looking at the fact that, as you say, with 8-0, we've played well, scored some great goals, but also at the same time we've had to play like champions in terms of, as I've said, winning games 1-0 and just going until the very end. So for me, I went for Hadji's goal versus St Johnstone at home. Right?
Aye, spot on. Couldn't have said it better myself. That was a nerve-wracking game, that one. It felt like the goal was never going to come that day. And then again, somebody always pops up. And as I said before, the team mentality is just to keep on going. We did get our rewards that day. So another big one. I'm going with the Aberdeen first game of the season now for my one. Another one, we've not played football in months and months before this. This was going to be a tough game for everybody involved. To be able to go and get the result. It wasn't a great game, but we still got through over the line. Morelos, great goal for Kent, obviously. Aberdeen were a bit short of numbers and stuff like that at the start of the season as well. But important, as you say, as you said, sorry, at the start, your list, to get off to the right start. Players, Kent obviously getting a goal to start off his season, which he started off spectacularly. And Aberdeen's always a tough game. So to get that one out of the way with the very first game after no playing for so long, after the whole lockdown and stuff like that, such an important one. And one that's set us on our way for the League 55. So Aberdeen, first game of the season for me.
No, as I said, mate, it's just it was so important to start the season off. Do you know what I mean? With momentum, as you say, it wasn't the best game. I remember quite a lot of dirty tackles in that game. To be honest with you, did they not have a red card?
I think they actually did have a red card. If I can remember rightly, it might be wrong, but I'm sure they did.
I remember that, mate. It was just number 5, isn't it?
So top 5 now. Go for it.
Top 5. I went for McGregor's own goal and Al McGregor's save, mate. That old film for me was just, as I say, Al McGregor put off what a sensational save. Do you know what I mean? As I said, if that was Wesson goals, it's probably going in the net, and that's why Gerrard brought McGregor in for saves like that. But then just that sensational own goal. Thanks for that. Yeah, but I went for that old film for myself there.
Such a pivotal moment with Celtic. At that time, they tried a whole new system with Turnbull and all that. They were playing a bit better, got wins under the belt. They thought they were going to come to Ibrox and beat us, which, see, if it wasn't for Al McGregor, as you say, could have been about 2-3 at half time. So you've got to tip your hat to Al McGregor that day. I've also got that one. It's higher up the list though, so we'll talk more in depth there. But my fifth one is Alfredo Morelos' form after he got banned. I think this is such an important one because before in the season, Alfredo Morelos, he was kind of touch and go. He was getting goals here and there. He wasn't playing to the levels we know he could enough. So after he got banned against Hibs for the stamp, Although he got the goal that day as well, he came back and he provided, even after his ban against Dundee United as well, he came back and provided a load of goals. With that being two against Aberdeen, he scored. Obviously, I said that one against Hibs as well. Scored against Celtic recently. Scored against pretty much everybody recently. He's scoring goals for fun. He got that one against St Mirren, which I remember, near, I think it was maybe after Christmas or something like that. But he got that goal after a long drought, which was a big one for him as well. So I think Morelos, after his collective bans this season, has been so important. And I think maybe his most important goal is the one against Livingston that night. 87th minute, clock was ticking. We had to get the win, and he popped up and scored such a massive goal. So I think Morelos, after his bans, it's just been an absolute game changer for us.
Okay, can I shock you there, mate? That is my next one, is Morelos' form.
That's your next one, aye. So we can continue to talk about it. What's your thoughts on that one?
No, 100% agree with everything you're saying. As you said, he's just sort of went on this monster tear throughout the league. As he said, it's his favourite goal for this month. Obviously, the one into Celtic. It's mine too, Alfredo. I love that one. No, but he's just been superb. I don't think words could describe how important he is actually to this team. Because if he is to go, man, it's going to be a massive blow. But his form, ever since that game, mate, it's just incredible. Do you know what I mean? Thank you for putting the ball in the net, son. You're just sensational. No. What's your one, mate? What's your next one?
My next one, this is number 4, is actually a loss, and that loss is the St Mirren one. This is the one I was saying to you the other night, you might find this a bit weird, but a loss on the list. This is such an important one for me, because going into this game and for the season we had up until that point, it felt like we could just field any sort of team and beat MD, because it was working up until that point. We had a bit of rotation and stuff like that. We rotated in this game. I remember vividly talking in the podcast that St Mirren were on some good form. We need to watch really how they're playing. And that night we get destroyed, to be honest with you. The team selection was wrong for the get-go. The mentality was maybe wrong for the get-go at that time. And ever since then, that has been changed, and the best team has been fielded at any given moment from then, which I think all the fans really were like, right, that needs to happen from now on. So that was an important moment again for just showing us that we can't just turn up and win. We will be fighting for every result, even if it is a loss, a draw, whatever. And I think that was a real reality check for Steven Gerrard and the squad of players this season, because as I said before, they were just rocking up and sort of finding a way every time. But on that night, it went a bit different. We get put out of the cup. It was obviously devastating for everybody involved, because it was a real opportunity there. So I feel like that is just a very important one.
No, I've got to agree with you, mate. It's always, I think, as you were saying, I think it was sort of everyone was getting a bit carried away and feeling like we're just going to steamroll through everyone. And maybe a loss is, you know what I mean? It's good to just remind yourself that, listen, you need to do more. You can't just select the second team, as he said, that he selected there, like Zungu and all that were playing. You can't just think that everyone's going to lay down for you. St Mirren did come out. I remember, I think they were the better team for the majority of the game. And it just told us, like, listen, we've got to fight. As I said, like, we've had to fight for the Kilmarnock games, the St Johnstone games. We haven't just been handed this league. We've scrapped for it. We've really digged in this season, and that's the thing I'm really proud about the boys, is they've just dug in. They've just focused on what they've got to do. As you said, the mentality, one game at a time. We just keep going one game at a time, and then we do Klingsman's in the changing rooms, but one game at a time.
They all come towards the end of that, so we can all do our Klingsman's. But the St Mirren one, I think maybe a lot of people would have overlooked that as an important moment for us this season. But just looking at it, maybe I would say it's right up there. Going into your top 3 now, then, go.
Number 3 for me is the Motherwell game, mate. That was.
I'm guessing that's the 3-1 at home, aye.
Aye, 3-1 at home, mate. That was just, for me, that told us that this is a different Rangers compared to the following seasons that have taken place. For me, just honestly, what a frustrating game to watch. But they dug it. They did it, mate. They dug out and they got a 3-1 result, which is just fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. Especially after a St Mirren loss as well. That was the real one that we had to come back.
That's what I'm on about. It was, is this Rangers team different in terms of bouncing back straight away? Can they go? Do you know what I mean? But Motherwell were so stubborn. Do you know what I mean? I think Steve Clark was probably watching them.
I know that was a tough one. That was a real tough one. My third one is the Europa League run. this season. I feel like that's really prided us a lot along the way. For the opening sort of qualifiers, we beat Lincoln Red Imps, Wilhelm 2, um, Galatasaray.
Galatasaray.
That's obviously a massive victory against a really good side. We go into the groups, we then go unbeaten in the groups and we top it with Benfica. We really gave a great game home and away to. We're probably unlucky not to get 6 points for there and end up drawing them to them. Like Poznan at home was one we had to work for again. Morelos come off the bench, scored. Like Poznan away from home was where we'd already qualified. Cedric Eaton got his goal that night. It was good to see him scoring. And then Standard Liège, I think maybe were the two really good games out of the two. Obviously, Roof scores that goal. A really tight game up until obviously the massive rain showers that night. And then the one at home where they provided us a lot of problems when they went 1-0 up and then they went 2-1 up. And then we had to, again, dig in and get the result. So even going into the Antwerp game as well, showed again that we never gave up. We dominated Antwerp for large parts of the two ties, Scored a load of goals. Morelos was involved heavily. And it got a lot of eyes on Rangers' Europa League run this year. And maybe even looking to that Slavia Prague first leg as well. Again, after we were in party mode, going out and you've seen how good Slavia Prague can be on the pitch. To get a draw over there was good, but it ended poorly. But I don't look at this Europa League run in any sort of bad way. I look at this as like what a team we really watched this year in Europe, beating sides like Galatasaray and stuff like that, and competing with the likes of Benfica, topping your group, only been beat once in the tournament. I feel like that's set us on our way. I think it's been good to have the games in midweek against the opposition to then. So you can play at that high level and then focus again on the weekend. So I feel the Europa League win this season has been really beneficial for us.
100% agree, mate. And you think about those Benfica games, if it wasn't for, do you know what I mean, just the tiniest mistakes, we should have beaten them. Do you know what I mean? So like that shows the teams, as you're saying, like we're fighting. Some people may think that it's been handed, but we've turned up, we've worked our socks off this season. Everyone's dug in. One game at a time is the same mentality. In Europe, is something that, do you know what I mean? If you're not going to give Rangers credit in the league, well, you have to look at us in Europe and say, no, they're a proper team, they are a good side. If you're an outsider, but as you say, we've beaten big teams like Galatasaray. I remember that game. That was just, I think we dominated them. Was it the home game? I can vividly remember.
Aye, we did. Aye.
Do you know what I mean? A team like Galatasaray, Falcao and top players like that. So Europe has just been sensational this season.
Aye, it has been. Now we go on to the top two. Then, what's your second one?
Well, my second one is one that you've already mentioned, which is the defence, mate. I've put him at number 2 because it's massive. I think it was Ferguson that was what's that, attack may win you games, but it's defence that wins your titles in it. So for me, massive. Just Connor Goldson, I think we both are on agreement player of the season.
Absolutely.
The fullbacks, McGregor even, and the sticks as well. Do you know what I mean? The whole in the back area, the team's just been superb this season. I just feel like, well, honestly, I can't really describe like what I really would want to say about it, but for me, they've just been tremendous. When you think about everyone that's had to come and do a job, like the rotation with Balogan and Hollander, like both have been solid. I mean, you're telling me stats about big Phil Hollander that he's not lost a game yet. So Aston Villa, you want him, you're going to have to pay a lot of money for that to keep saying, show me the money. But I went for the defence, mate. I just feel like we've been superb.
Aye, and it's maybe something I actually should have placed higher. But something I want to touch on again with that point is the fact that the rotation, Balogun and Hollander have been rotated all the time. And even earlier on the season, Barisic and Bassey were rotated a bit. And then later on the season, Patterson's come in and done a job. So everybody that has actually played a game in the defence this season can go away and hold their head high because of the standards haven't dropped. And again, the team mentality shines into that as well. So, that's a good one to put there.
No, I just felt like that should be there. What have you gone for?
I've went for one you've already mentioned. I've went for the 1-0 win against Celtic at home. Just for the reason that, as I said, when you brought it up with your point, Celtic were on a good run of form. They felt like, right, this is the best Celtic side we're going to see this season. We can go and beat Rangers. And we soaked up that much pressure, didn't play our best, but we still came out and got a victory without a shot on target. It's just crazy. I don't really think we played at all good at any part in that game. But after Beaton gets sent off in that, and then we eventually got our goal through Cal McGregor. So cheers, mate, for that one. It was a good day at the office, and I feel like that was the time where the team were like, right, we're going to go and win the league now, because that was a massive hurdle to get over, the second Old Firm, and then winning back-to-back Old Firm games again is big for the side. So I feel like it's a big one in the steady this season for me anyway. Is that one? So number one, go for
it. I went for a sensational moment. One that caused Dave Batista to make his entrance outside of Livingston. And that's Alfredo Morelos' goal v Glavy, mate. For me, just if you could pick him to score the goal that's going to do it for you, it's Alfredo in it.
No.
So I've put Alfredo there for me. As I said, Batista turned up. He thought, you know what, forget the Hall of Fame. I'm about to come out here and do his mad.
His re-entrance.
No, but that was a difficult game, as I said to you beforehand. They were one of the only teams to take points off us this season. And I just felt like it was going to be a difficult game. Again, obviously, because of the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a hard team to break down. But it was coming, and Alfredo Morelos got the goal. So thank you for that, Alfredo, again. Just another one of the most sensational moments you've provided this season.
Aye, and you could literally say that game had fireworks, technically, because obviously you remember the Gerrard incident with the referee and all that was in that game as well. We were denied a Stonewall penalty. And then you were thinking, like, Goldson was also offside with a goal, and you're thinking, this is never going to happen for us today. And then there you go, Alfredo Morelos pops up. And it was such a big goal for the way the season then unfolded to where we were announced champions, because if we didn't get that 3 points, that would have been another week we would have been waiting. So, just such a massive goal, a massive occasion. I feel that with the team celebrations that day, it just showed that we know we're going to go and do it now. It's such a massive goal. And as you said, Livingston, we didn't beat them over there at their own place. So again, another massive hurdle ticked off for the end of the start of the season. Sorry, enemy. My number one, again, you've already mentioned it, but for me, it's just, this was the moment where I knew we were going to win the league, and it was Motherwell at home. Just after the upset in the cup, I remember that week being very toxic online with people's opinions, and as you know, with people's opinions, they get too emotional and end up saying stupid things. It was really, really emotional because we'd missed out in the cup. Which we felt we were going to go and win. Celtic were out it. Surely we would have went on and won it, but it wasn't to be for the reasons obviously I talked about previously. But going into Motherwell, we had to field our best team. We had to go out and get the win, nothing less. Again, that mentality was back to that, and he picked the right team. But we went 1-0 down again, and you're actually sitting with your pillow on your face, no wanting to watch a telly. Took us up to 80 minutes to even equalise. And then from then on, Cedric Eaton popped up with the winner. Roof get his other one.
Landlord.
Yeah, the landlord, the Motherwell, he'll say that. For that moment, I'm like, right, if we're getting over hurdles like this that we would have stumbled on last season, I know for a fact we're going to be champions. I couldn't say it on the podcast. I couldn't even say it to anybody. I just thought that way because I'm no one to jinx anything. But from then on, I was like, right, we're going to go and do something special here. And for me, that was just such a massive game to get over the line. So, that's my top 10. I enjoyed yours as well. A really good list. Some of the same stuff, some different stuff, but I enjoyed it.
I don't think you can argue with any moments I've put forward there. You know, they're all so massive. I would agree. The Motherwell one was such a turning point in believing that, right, this team can do it. Because as you say, previous years, that's a 1-0 win to Motherwell. Do you know what I mean? It's a frustrating day at the office, but team dug in, took the landlord to do it, which I hope that just takes a world of its own, because how no, do you know what I mean? But I just think that all the moments we've said there are just massive moments and why we are the champions this season. I really do feel like the games where we have, obviously you've put your Hamilton game in there, that's massive, but I feel like the games, like as I say, the Kilmarnock away game and things like that, they're so important, just getting the points and going up the road. But no, for me, it's been a fantastic season, man.
It has been a fantastic season. So, it was good to do this. It got me back to the moments that I mentioned, how I felt at that time. Great to mention them again. Obviously, it's weird to think doing this podcast at the start of the season. Our only intention was, right, Rangers need to go and win the league this year. It was nothing else. And for the fact that we've done it, for the fact that we've covered podcasts every single one of these weeks that we've talked about, is obviously great for us. We can go back and listen, see what shite we were talking at the time. But
Exactly.
honestly, I really enjoyed that.
Listen, I remember, as you say, mate, like at the start of the season, I remember saying, listen, if Gerrard and that don't do it this season, he's got to be going. Like, they've done it, and I'm just so happy they did it, because you wouldn't want somebody like that to go. Do you know what I mean? How massive he's been for the club. And as you say, we've just been sitting here like a couple of passionate people who support our club, just sharing our opinions on how we feeling. Do you know what I mean? If you disagree with it, you disagree with it. If you agree with it, you agree with it, I guess. But no, it's just been a fantastic season. As we say all the time, like, it's a season that for me and you, we're probably going to be talking about when we're in the pension room like Robert De Niro. Do you know what I mean? Looking out the window. But I don't know. I'm so proud of the team for this season anyway, man.
Aye, and so
there's still a lot of celebration to be done. As I say, can't wait to lift the trophy. So it's just get the Rangers back, because honestly, when Scotland are playing, I'm a bit down, to be honest with you, man.
I know, it's shocking. It's actually, as soon as I knew the international break was coming up, honestly, fuck that. That's my immediate thoughts. Just this week, thankfully, at the end of it, we've got Rangers back, which is obviously the great thing. If you did enjoy the top 10, let us know if we missed out on any. Let us know in the comments if we missed out on any tweeters or whatever. I'd love to hear, as you said, contrast and opinions. If you didn't agree with it, I'm always up for debating with people about stuff. So that's what we're doing it for anyway. So if you enjoyed the podcast as a whole as well, leave a like on the YouTube video, subscribe to the channel. We're again needing 200 subscribers again. Share it about if you're listening on Spotify or anything else like that, and then follow the socials that'll be on the screen on the YouTube video. And I really enjoyed the episode today, and we'll be back for, thankfully, the match reaction to the Cove Rangers game on Sunday now. So until then, cheers, and we'll see you then.